I'm Nicole. I am a software engineer. I grew up in California and I'd been working in Silicon Valley for the past 6 years. And I recently made the decision to move to Singapore and build products here for Southeast Asia. I worked for a while with a design company called IDEO in the Valley, and they're really great, and I learned a lot of best practices there. Coming to Singapore, I was really excited to see that Singapore also adopts a lot of the same ideologies and are very advanced in the way that they incorporate design into their day-to-day product building. I think design is absolutely critical. I think any developer, not just ones who work on the front end, but any developer, aspiring programmer, should have a keen and astute understanding of UX, of UI, of the basic heuristics that govern the way our digital world works. And I think the most critical takeaway from any of these design classes you can take is empathy, is really putting yourself in the shoes of your users and letting go of your design ego, letting go of that awesome, icon that you just made because it doesn't work for your user, and really just adopting their mindset and building something that ultimately works for them. And I don't think that's a skill that I've acquired yet. It's something that a lot of us spend our entire lives working on. It is a good career choice if you fully enjoy what you're doing. I think a lot of people say that programming is frustrating. There are many days where you feel like you're on top of the world, and there are many hours, many late nights when you're just bashing your head against the keyboard. So I think to make it into a career, you have to really enjoy what you're doing, or you have to really believe in the end goal that your programming abilities gets you to. What I don't believe is seeing programming as a stepping stone towards a managerial role in programming. I think a lot of the really good software engineers I've met and have been inspired by truly like being technical for what it is and not have seen it as a stepping stone for other vocations. But at the same time, I believe that programming can be leveraged for a cause or a problem that you're really interested in solving. And so if you're really interested in medicine, if you're very interested in law, and you see programming as a toolkit that you can leverage to really make a unique impact and carve out a wedge and bring out your own solution to a problem that comes at the intersection of these two things, then it makes a lot of sense. Well, I recently made the decision to leave California, to leave the United States, and I'd grown up there, to come to Singapore. I'd always been fascinated by this region, and as a technical and product person, I've always wanted to build products here. And it's also largely in part to the fact that I recently married my longtime fiance of 5 years, and he's Singaporean. So that decision was pretty difficult. It meant that I left the roles, the community, and the friends that I had back in the Valley, and they made fun of the fact that I was kind of crazy for doing so. But I fundamentally believe in timing, and that sometimes, especially when you're younger, you take risks and you just do what you think is more exciting. And I just think that in this region, we've yet to see a lot of the infrastructure and a lot of the technical luxuries that we already have in Silicon Valley be built. And I think the prospect of me being able to help with that movement is a lot more compelling than not being labeled as strange and then moving to a whole new continent in my 20s. I don't have a daily routine. I'd like to say that I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and start cracking. I really don't. I think my days tend to be a little bit later. I usually get up, I might go for a run, work on the more intellectually intense bits of my project, and then move on to the parts that aren't as hardcore. And then I think that usually takes me into the late evenings, and then the next day it starts again.